or daughter, your male or female slave, or your cattle, or the stranger who is within your settlements. For 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth and sea, and all that is in them, and God rested on the seventh day. Whew. Therefore Adonai blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Hello.
And said hello to it.
And hallowed it. Hello. All right, they're going to bless after. Kizzy, kizzy, smoochy, smoochy. Big kisses, big smooches, except for your brother. He's going to go like this.
Yeah. Very true.
I know this family. I know it well. Okay. All right, then we will call you as bar mitzvah for the first time. And you will bless.
Can you see me?
Just bless. Oh. Stay over here, though, with the Torah. Don't go walking over there. Just because they have to be over there, that's because you're in the way. You can just look over there. Just look.
Must be turned.
Your eyes work. Go.
No, but it must be turned.
Go. Does not have to be turned.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torto. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Kabed et avicha ve'et imecha leman yarichun yamecha al harama asher Adonai Elohecha notein lach. Lo tirtzach, lo tin'af, lo tignov, lo ta'anevre adcha ed shaker, lo tachmod beit re'echa, Lo tachmod eshet re'echa, v'avdo v'amato v'shoro v'chamoro v'chol asher l're'echa.
Very nice. English.
Honor your father and your mother, that you may long endure on the land that Adonai your God is assigning to you. You shall not commit murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house, nor covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male or female slave, nor his ox or ass, nor anything else that is your neighbor's. Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're done? Okay. Blessing. Why'd you move? Stay in the Torah. There you go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tachenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Very nice. Ethel Merman's going to do your bar mitzvah. Never mind. Okay, let's dress her up. Tori's going to get all dressed up with no place to go. Can I have a birthday, please? Can I have a yard, please? Can I have a cantor, please? Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, go ahead and open up the left-hand door. I mean, both of them open this morning. It works.
Well, you will get better.
Oh, will I now?
Yes.
If you do say so yourself.
It happened. I think I know.
It happened. You're such a brat. Okay.
Thank you.
That was well done. Well done, well done. Let me hear you give the Haftarah introduction, then the blessing before the Haftarah, then the Haftarah, then the English of the Haftarah, and then the blessing after the Haftarah. Okay?
Okay.
It's not much that I ask.
My dad is back. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. Nice to know you're watching.
How's it going, Dad?
Hey, good. Come on, monster.
Okay. The Haftarah portion for this Shabbat comes from the book of Isaiah, and I will be chanting from chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. The word haftarah comes from a Hebrew word that means to conclude. A haftarah is a collection of verses taken from one of the books of the prophets, which we can find in the second section of the Hebrew Bible. This section contains the history of the ancient Israelites and the messages of the prophets to Israel, whose words continue to inspire us to this day. The verses of the Haftarah are related in some way to the Torah portion that was just chanted. Sometimes the connection between Torah and Haftarah is very clear, sometimes it is not. These verses share a special message for the week that concludes the reading of the Torah. First, I will first chant the blessing before the reading of the Haftarah, which you can find on page 372 in the prayer book. Afterwards, you can follow along with me on the Torah translation sheet. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'nviim tovim v'rotzav divrahem hanemerim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Habacher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo v'Yisrael amo v'yeh ha'emet v'tzedek. Bishnat mot hamelech Uziyahu ve'ereh et Adonai yoshev al kisei ram v'nitah v'shulav meleim et ha'echol serafim omdim mima'alo shesh kenafim le'echad v'shtayim yechasef anav uv'shtayim yechaser raglav uv'shayim ye'ofef v'kara zeh el zeh ve'amar kadosh 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 Adonai Tzvaot melech kol ha'aretz kevodo v'yandu'u amot hasipim mikol hakorei v'habayit yimalei ashan. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sur kol amim Sadiq b'chol hadarot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer v'yoseh hamdaber u'mkayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevim al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod u'tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. Very nice.
Yeah.
Good job. Good yawn, too. All right, take up the bar tour and let me hear that, please. Deliver it slowly and clearly and make sure everybody gets your message.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yes, you may.
Yay.
Ethel Merman was really clear? Excellent. It's all good. Yeah, it's really clean. Nice.
Okay. Now,
You're going to be the first one. Okay, let's hear it, Duke. Yeah. Totally posting this on Facebook. Post the link to this video. Go for it, buddy.
okay. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
This week's parsha is called Yitro and comes from the book of Exodus, chapters 18 through 20. Today chanted verses primarily from chapter 20, which are the Ten Commandments.
Is that primarily? Is that the word? Today I chanted verses.
Primarily?
Is that the word that's there?
That's what it says.
Okay, but you said primarily or something, so just letting you know your actual word was weird. So that's why.
Okay, today I'm chanting verses primarily from chapter 20, which are the Ten Commandments. This portion starts with Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, taking Moses' wife and kids to the Israelite camp. When Jethro sees how many decisions Moses is making for the Israelites, he suggests that Moses delegate, which Moses does. Then, 3 months after entering the Sinai desert, the Israelites reach Mount Sinai. 3 days of preparations follow, and then they all go to the base of the mountain, where Moses goes up to speak with God and receives the Ten Commandments and all of Torah. The part of this portion that is the most interesting to me is the commandment that says, "You shall have no other gods besides me. You shall not make for yourself a sculptured image, a likeness of what is in the heavens above, or in the earth below, or in the waters under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them." The first part is about the oneness of God, and the second is about the prohibition against worshiping other gods. This is especially interesting to me because I like learning about ancient mythologies, all of which had many gods. I also like to look into how the Israelite religion relates to these mythologies. Monotheism, the idea of a singular God, was a revolutionary idea in ancient times and has become the central tenet of Judaism. We reaffirm this idea every morning and every evening when we recite the Shema. However, this wasn't always true. In the beginning, the ancestors of the Israelites probably would have been polytheists, that is, they had multiple gods, just like their neighbors. Also, the change wasn't immediate. On the biblical timeline, the journey to monotheism would have started when God spoke to Abraham and doesn't become a generally accepted Jewish idea until Moses speaks with God at Mount Sinai several centuries later. For Moses' time, they probably would have been henotheists. Henotheism is the belief in multiple gods with one central, more powerful God.
Who knows that word? Keep going.
Me. Monotheism, the oneness of God, is so important that it is nearly the first thing stated in the Ten Commandments. And the Ten Commandments are the basis for all Jewish ethics and laws. The idea of oneness or wholeness, according to Rabbi Ari Yehuda Alter, is that everything is God. There is no separation between us and God. God is not up there while we are down here. Rabbi Alter imagines that the universe is like a body and God is the soul. Every person is like a cell in the body. Every person is unique yet crucial to the body as a whole, all working together, sustaining each other. God is one. We are one. We are one with our family. We are one with our community. This is the power of one, the power of monotheism. The second part of this section is the injunction against worshiping other gods, or polytheism. The Torah fights fiercely against this. In ancient times, there were local gods. Each area had its gods, different from their neighbors. Each had its own morality. Each area concentrated on the differences between their gods and their neighbors, and between them and their neighbors. Polytheism separates and divides. Them and us, my God versus your God. When the world is polytheistic, it's easy when things go wrong to blame the other group, to blame the other. We have seen this throughout history. During the Holocaust, Hitler said that we were the other and we were to blame. At other times, other people were cast into the role of the other, and the world has torn this has torn the world apart. Many of the iconic stories exist with slight differences in ancient cultures, mythologies, or stories. For instance, both Egyptian mythology and the Torah creation stories take place over the course of 7 days, and what happens on each day is very similar. That is, up until the last few days. In the Egyptian version, plants, animals, and humans were created on days 5, 6, and 7. In Genesis, those are all created on days 5 and 6. The seventh day is Shabbat, the day of rest. The Egyptians don't get that privilege. Another example is the flood story. Noah and the ark are far from the only flood story. They appear not only in Egyptian mythology, but in many others, such as Greek, Sumerian, and Indian. One theory is that there's once a massive flood in the Mesopotamian area, which is the area that would flood easily, and from there the flood story worked its way into many other cultures. Each culture's flood story is somewhat different. The Greek mythology's flood story varies in a number of ways. It is 2 survivors floating on a chest without animals or an ark, and the flood didn't last 40 days and 40 nights. However, the Sumerian story is strikingly similar to the Noah story, with an enormous boat to save the seed of all living things, a long-lasting rain, and letting loose birds to find a rainbow at the end. However, in the Jewish story, God promises never to flood the world again, and otherwise known as the Rainbow Covenant. God also proclaims the Noahide laws, which are 7 laws that apply to all descendants of Noah. Since Noah and his family are the only people alive, all the people of the world are considered to be the descendants of Noah, so the rules apply to everyone. I've read over 20 books on ancient mythologies and have read some of these books many times. I'm obsessed with mythology. But what is mythology? Mythologies are stories, and the urge to tell these stories is one of our oldest impulses. We are hardwired to love stories. We see this in ancient mythologies and in current times, with all the television and movies and plays and books. Monotheism, the idea of one God, aims to bring us together towards oneness. Stories and mythologies do this too. Shared stories can create shared beliefs, make us feel less alone, and bind us together and make us one. What I see when I study ancient mythologies are the great number of similarities. Mythologies are not just stories. They are truths told not directly, but in the form of stories. What does it tell you that so many cultures have similar myths? Perhaps there are universal truths that apply to all people, just as all people love stories. Perhaps people acknowledge these certain universal truths that they wish to pass along to future generations through these mythologies. Perhaps as a nation we need to build a new story like monotheism and the ancient mythologies bring us together to make us echad, one. The process of learning about my Torah and becoming bar mitzvah has confirmed the need to educate myself about the world so I can make informed decisions. It is my responsibility to support those who work to unify the world. In studying these ancient mythologies and comparing them to Jewish stories, I don't notice the differences nearly as much as the similarities. We need to focus more on the similarities, the things that pull us together towards oneness. We need to look for common ground, what can unify us rather than divide us. That is the way to improve, to repair the world. Please join me in singing the Shahrianu.
Wow. That is the most advanced dissertation ever delivered for a bar mitzvah. That's what Rabbi said too. That's amazing. All right. I think we should ask people to fasten their seatbelts before we start that. Okay. Fantastic. Dude, you're ready. You're done. You are fantastic. You know what you're doing. You are confident. You don't even speak super fast. So, you're done.
Yeah.
Take this. Take that. Get out of here.